decided to go to Luxembourg, Vienna, with my friend, and we were visiting the castle. As you can see, we have this amazing shot of Luxembourg and the castle in Vienna. A bit about this place: it is full of nature, full of amazing tourists, full of local people, and just full of greenery, and the scenery is quite frankly nice. So we enter the castle. The last time I was here was 7 years ago. They didn't have this, so they definitely added a few extra things. And as you can see, voila, this is the castle. Obviously, it has been renovated throughout the many years it's been there. And once we were on the castle, this was the overview that we had from Luxembourg with the beautiful dam over there. So the first room we went into, which I suppose is a cellar room, which is the place you would find me piss drunk if I was in that time living, because trust me, you wouldn't want to live in a time like that. A lot of B&Bs, a lot of hotels. I don't think motels are very popular in Luxembourg. There's no reason for it because it's very affordable. And yes, that's actually legit. These towns are very small in general. As you can see, this was the entry of the castle with some armory and some of this random shit in here, which I don't know what this was supposed to be or what it's supposed to mean. Not to mention the fact that you got this weird creepy silicone looking thing. And here it tells you a little bit about the history of the castle from the beginning to the mid-production of making it bigger until you get the final corporation of the actual size, which I don't know who made this scale, but I really thought it was awesome. Then we had some more things. It's quite funny because these items will be called something else in video games. I forgot the word, but whatever. We walked down the stairs together, and then we went into this kitchen room, or whatever you want to call it. I'd definitely be whipping up some nasty stuff back in the days. We had this gun, which was really nice. I do remember last time that you were able to go on the top of the castle, but unfortunately in this video I won't be able to show you that because of the fact that they closed it down for some other reason. It looks a lot like a church. And then I found this room which nobody was in, so I was like, let me go and sneak in it. This was the top of the view. I mean, just what an amazing view, man. Luxembourg is so peaceful, so beautiful, so green. It's an amazing country and it has so much to offer. Now this was a very interesting place. I don't know what this is called within the castle. I don't know if this was the place that they used to pray. Could potentially be, but I do say you don't want to fall down there, trust me, because that would definitely hurt. So yeah, I'm gonna assume that this back in the 12, 13, 1400s, 1500s, they would probably pray in there, knowing they would get their shit beat up. And then this room was full of information, and this is what the view looked like from the top of the castle. And this room was filled with information about people and people that visited Luxembourg and the castle itself, which is very interesting. I mean, just look at that view, man. There isn't very much I can add to it except for that it's beautiful. Then we got these random ass politician people that I think most of us don't really care that much about. They're not alive anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. This was lit on the top, and that building you see on the bottom, that actually has been added. That was a complete new thing that they added, because many years ago it wasn't there. And I guess this is like a study room or something back in the days. They renovated a lot of things, which is really nice. I do wonder if this is really what it all looked like back in the days. And apparently women used to be very tall back in the time, which I did not know, because I'm pretty sure men and women were both very short back in those times. But due to my history, you know. And then my friend, she filmed me randomly coming out of the toilet, so that was quite funny, unexpected. Then we went into the, I guess, pantry room of the castle with like all the olive oil. Now it's pretty obvious that was put up and seen. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then you had these old people forced to sing for us, which was pretty cool. And I guess this was the actual kitchen. And then there was this well, which is really interesting. It was very odd because like this was a bit of a hidden back room sort of, so you couldn't really see that there was another room. I wonder how many people fell to their death in that. And then this piece that they added, very new, completely, which told you the entire history from beginning to the end of the castle, which was very unique. Now these are original staircases where people used to walk up and down to defend the fortress. which is so interesting. Like, we people nowadays don't understand what life must have been like back in those times. Must have been, I guess, somewhat nice, but also painful. Then we decided to go into the local village, which again, it's not a city, bro. It's literally a local place. And look at that view from the bottom. Could you imagine people from the top shooting bow and arrows in your ass at the time? Damn, that's crazy. A lot of motorcycles, a lot of cars driving. The local places or something else. Then we went into the church, which was free. You didn't have to pay for that. And then we spoke to Jesus, I suppose. And then we decided to sit down, relax at this little lake, get a drink. And this is the hotel that we stayed in for a day. And then it was time to head back to our B&B and relax for the day. I've been to Luxembourg a few times in my life, and it just still this day remains a very beautiful yet small country. Luxembourg is a country which is full of creativity, full of beauty. Obviously, it's also a country that has its issues just like any other kind of country. But like the biggest reason why a lot of people and millions of others travel and see Luxembourg yearly is due to the fact that the environment for the road trips, going on the bike, going camping, and just kind of the exploration is superb. Luxembourg has so much to offer when it comes to peace and nature, and the fact that public transportation is completely free makes it even just better than a lot of other countries. I spoke to a few locals. I spoke to a Canadian that lives in Luxembourg, and I asked a few of them, and I said, even though Luxembourg for me as an outsider looks very nice and is very nice, what are the issues? Are there any issues here? All of them had an opinion about Luxembourg itself, because some people may not know Luxembourg is the country, but it's also the capital of the country, which is really interesting. Just like this place called in the Netherlands, Leeuwarden. That doesn't make no sense. I got told that Luxembourg, the city itself, is a dump at night. Certain areas very dodgy, sketchy, and I even got advised to not walk there on my own. I'm not gonna test that theory out due to the fact that I haven't been into the city itself, but Vienna is such a beautiful place. This time I went to Reisdorf and we went on a camping. A friend of mine, she loves to travel. I love to travel with her. We travel once in a while with each other. We frequently see each other. We go out for coffee, and we wanted to make our first trip special and awesome, and we decided to do this all on our own, no help of any of our parents, just independent, two people, two best friends, just independent, going on travel in the car, unprepared. That's definitely one thing we kind of didn't know, because it's our first time, you know. So for the next time we go on any form of trip, we have actual camping stuff, camping gear that we can take with, which is very cool. But Vienna is a very special place to me, and the actual reason for me wanting to come to Vienna again, this had been my first time in 7 years that I visited the country. My friend passed away there in 2012 in Vienna. If you go back and look at the footage, you'll see that on some point in the video I am in the castle, and there is this big bend straight. You cannot miss it. He's passed away, unfortunately, on that road. And I had asked her, and I said, listen, I would really appreciate it if, we can go and visit the place that he passed away before we enter the castle. It's a very, it's a very emotional thing. And she was like, of course, no problem, I understand. And I remember driving up there, the scenery, the beauty, and all of a sudden, because it had been so long, and you may wonder why it had been so long since I visited the place, is due to the fact that, when COVID came in 2020, the borders were closed, you couldn't enter or leave the country, and life went on after that, I moved out, moved back in, other stuff. The biggest thing was I didn't have a car at the time. Now it's a very different story. I have a car which is so much independence after this bend, this comes up after this bend, this and that. And what was very unfortunate was the fact that there were more graves on the mountain, which was very disappointing and very sad to see. That's the one unfortunate thing about Luxembourg, is a lot of bike riders there, and it's a very, very nice trip. You know, even with the car, it's an amazing trip. Unfortunately, a lot of unexperienced people go on the bike and they misjudge certain places, and you will see very often a grave in Luxembourg. It's a pretty normal thing, I hate to say, but that's kind of the only way I can describe it. You see a grave dome, a tombstone, pretty much on every mountain you go to, whether it is big or small. And unfortunately, my friend passed away there 2012, and I went to the site, and obviously a very emotional moment because it had been so long. I was very sad. I cried, obviously, but I cried because of happiness. And you know why? I was happy to see him. I wasn't sad because it'd been so long since I seen the place itself. I cried because it felt good being there, knowing that, hey, I saw him today. I'm happy. Let's go to the castle. And that's exactly what we did. It's never fun seeing a tombstone on any place, especially in regions like Luxembourg. You have to just be so careful. And I have seen the stupid drivers on a trip through Luxembourg, the bike drivers, the car drivers, you know, overtaking in sharp bends, in dangerous scenarios, that I'm like, this is exactly how people lose their life. Being too cocky, misjudging, not being experienced enough. Even with experience, you can mess up that 1 second, but besides it, obviously, it's got a lot of nature, it's got a lot of beauty. It's obviously got all the other amenities like stores, and then people are very different from what I was able to experience. It was very relaxing. It felt as if people were more zen, if that makes any sense. Like, you could feel like, oh shit, people are like really chill here. Like, goddamn, there's not one person stressed out of their mind. Nothing. And I think a big reason with that is because of lower tax. I mean, that would make anyone relax, I suppose. Second of all, you have nature surrounding yourself 24/7. How can you not be relaxed by that? And if you're someone that's like, what about partying, this and that? Well, now I'm gonna have to disappoint you. But Luxembourg is a country full of nature. That's the country you want to go to if you want to relax. Now, if you want to party, you probably need to go to Luxembourg itself. But all the other places around are very local and very cute, tight communities. And Vion is one of the most beautiful places that I've been to. There were a lot of other places that I had explored on my own whilst driving, and I gotta say, it is just phenomenal. Now, what are the downside of Luxembourg? I've got to be very honest. I don't really see any downside. I could definitely see myself living there if I'm retired and old. That is, if I make it to that age, because the houses are extremely big there in general. They're way cheaper. The prices of food and everything is acceptable, is normal. You're not getting screwed over that much. I guess the only thing that we were a bit irritated by was the fact that milk, just like Belgium, doesn't get sold fresh. I don't know what that is with Belgium and Luxembourg, but like, fresh milk is so damn hard to find unless you go to a local farmer. But yeah, that's kind of about the only negative thing I suppose I could say. For the rest, it's a great country. I don't like the fact that you cannot smoke lettuce there. That's a bit of a less side, but at the end of the day, if you just want to go smoke some, just go to Germany. It's 20-minute drive, 15-minute drive. That's also a very nice thing about Luxembourg. There's no speed limits, almost. There's no cameras, nothing. You can drive like a maniac. There's hardly any police there. And you're close to the border of Germany, which is very nice. But besides that, that's kind of about it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this little vlog, what I did in a day, showcase you what Luxembourg looks like. And maybe when I go on my next road trip with my friend, we can take you with and show you